Okay, we're doing a very random video today. I'm going to be ranking all of the main and recurring characters in Avatar Last Airbender by if they will survive a zombie apocalypse. The reason why I was inspired to do this is because obviously we're seeing in Comic-Con Avatar Last Airbender got a huge announcement. The Walking Dead got a huge announcement. Marvel got zombies. So I just feel like this is a fun topic that I want to explore. And just to be clear, I'm going to set up some rules. I don't think that the zombies in this universe that exists with Avatar characters, they can't bend, they can just act like normal zombies. And you have to, follow the rules like The Walking Dead, where you have to like hit them in the head, or like destroy their brain, I guess, to kill them and like get rid of them. So I'm going to be ranking based on those rules. And I'm gonna be just assume these characters like appeared in a zombie apocalypse or whatever. Like they're all in the same place and they all have the same resources available. Let's just get into it. Let's start discussing. Now, number one, let's start with Aang. I feel like Aang is a pretty clear like S tier S for survivor. I think yeah, I'm pretty sure Aang is probably going to come out of this one. Because the reason is obviously because he's the Avatar, and he has all of the elements available. I feel like for this challenge, definitely Aang, like waterbending and earthbending, I feel like are probably gonna be more powerful than the other two. I'm gonna have my thoughts later, but for Aang, I definitely think that he's gonna be very strong. He can fly with his flying thing. The glider. Why did I just forget what it was called? He can glide around with the glider. He can use airbending to get distance, and probably control, like crowd control zombies. I feel like Aang would be a clear S tier. You want him on your team. You want him there to fight the zombies. He can access the Avatar state and like destroy a bunch of zombies. I feel like Aang would be pretty good. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. Okay, Azula. Now, this might get controversial. I'm gonna say good odds. I do want to maybe put it into 50-50. The reason I'm feeling this is because Azula, is the kind of a liability, but she is very, strong. She's a very strong strategic, and she would also be very quick and cunning in a moment, as we see in all of her battles. Like she's very on top of things. So I think that she would be very good in a zombie apocalypse. The reason why I want to put her down though is because I feel like first of all, lightning generation, which is her specialty, and firebending in general are just not as strong in a zombie apocalypse. I just feel like it's not as strong because lightning doesn't kill a zombie, right? It may be as strong against other humans, but I feel like overall, I don't know if you have to like, and furthermore, with firebending, I feel like would you even be able to like kill a zombie with firebending? Maybe with enough force. And probably Azula would be able to. But I think it just, to me, I feel like there's other elements that are much stronger than firebending in a zombie apocalypse. I'll explain later. But overall, I feel like, Azula is still a very strong bender. She's still a very capable fighter, and she would probably be able to survive even just on her own. So I'm going to put her on good odds. Now, this is Bato of the Water Tribe. I feel like Bato is, I want to say, probably a goner. That feels sad to say, but I just don't see what Batu is bringing to the table that like any other, non-bending combatant can do. And people who specialize in close combat, especially, we haven't seen a lot of what Bato is able to do. We see him, I think, him use a spear, um, but I ultimately don't think it'll be very strong in like a zombie apocalypse setting because you'll very easily get ambushed and get overwhelmed. And while these characters up here like Azula and Aang, they have like escape options. I feel like Bato would not. So I would say that he is probably a goner. Now, obviously, the Cabbage Merchant is in the First Blood. I don't think I have to explain this. His cabbages get destroyed every episode. He would be like probably the first person, and everyone would ignore the stupid cabbages even after he died. Nobody would, even during an apocalypse, nobody would eat his cabbages. They would just get covered in his blood by zombies. This is getting really dark. Okay, this is Arnook. He's from the Northern Water Tribe. You probably don't even know who this is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Arnook in probably a goner. I'm gonna put him above this character because I think that Arnook is more of a leader. Obviously, he's a leader of the Southern Water or the Northern Water Tribe, excuse me. I just don't think that we haven't seen him do anything. So yeah, I think that he's probably a goner, but he does have leadership skills, so that maybe boosts him up a little bit. Okay, this is Colonel Monkey from the Rough Rhinos. Now, you know, I'm going to put 50-50. Because I feel like with the Rough Rhinos, if they're working as a gang, or if they're working with other members of this, tier list, I feel like they have a stronger chance. In Monkey, even though I just said that firebending is not as strong, and all of those reasons, I think Monkey is probably one of the stronger firebenders, right? And so I feel there it's just sort of a chance, right? There's a chance that he makes it out of this, and there's a chance that he doesn't. And I feel like, maybe this is too generous towards him. Maybe he should probably be in a goner, but yeah. Okay, Combustion Man, I'm gonna have to say, is probably a goner, and it's probably, I would honestly want to move him down, but I don't think he'll be like the first, because he'll probably be able to like sustain himself. But you know that the Combustion Man cannot survive in close quarters. And so as soon as you have, as soon as he's ambushed in any way by a zombie, he's going to blow himself up. So I feel like this is just inevitable. Maybe very powerful in some situations, but you have to think like, what characters have escape mechanisms? Who can like get out of, who is going to be able to sustain themselves in this long term? And I don't think that Combustion Man has that. I'm sorry. Zhao. Okay, this is an interesting one. Zhao. Now, I forgot to mention that all these characters, they're going to be characters who are alive during Avatar Last Airbender. So not like characters like Roku or Kyoshi or like Kaya, right? But Zhao is fair, even though he died because he was a part of the show. I feel like he's probably a goner also. But I feel like it's like rude to put Monkey in 50-50 in Zhao, because I think Zhao is a little better than Monkey. I still want to put him in probably a goner. I just feel like his arrogance, like the attitude he has, it'll just get him killed. He probably will last longer than these people, but yeah, I don't see it for Zhao. I'm not seeing it. Okay, is this do or is this though? I don't know which one's which. I'm sorry. Okay, this is one of the swamp benders. I actually think water benders are. This is gonna be the first water bender. I think water benders are pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie. And a plant. No, well, he can't plant bend. Never mind. It was the other one that can do that. Okay, well, you know what? Water benders in general, I think are strong because you can use ice bending. I think to like pierce, someone. Also, you can freeze zombies. That would be very useful. But there is limited resources. Water is going to be probably a scarcity in the apocalypse, I would imagine. Although if you're high skilled enough, I could imagine you making it out somewhere. You know how waterbenders, we see how strong that is. But as for this character, I just don't really see him being as skilled. I think it is kind of a 50-50 situation. I mean, he has been living out in the swamp. He's a survivalist, so I think that already gives him kind of an advantage. But, and I like all those things about waterbending I just said. However, he's not the brightest, he's not the brightest lamp. But we'll just go ahead and move on with Iroh. Now, okay. Now, Iroh's a tough one. Iroh is a very tough one because you want to put him at the top because obviously you think like he has all the advice, he has all the guidance. The thing is, and I do think he's a very good firebender, okay, but the thing is, I don't know if his dragon breath, which is probably his best, kind of move that he is shown to have, or lightning regeneration. I don't know if those skills are necessarily that applicable in a zombie apocalypse. That's all I'm saying. I do think, and we saw how he did in some of these episodes when he was out in this wilderness. I don't think he's a real good like survivalist. So, like, I mean, he would have died if it wasn't for Zuko. So I think in a certain scenario, like, and this being the zombie apocalypse, I don't think Iroh is actually that good. Okay, I'm gonna put him in the 50-50 because I don't want to offend anyone, but because and I do think he is strong, like a strong firebender. I'm not trying to like discount his firebending. I just think, it's I would honestly give more to these other characters in the 50-50 category. I do think Iroh maybe would edge out some of these other characters though. So I think that's fair. Okay, Guru Patik. Okay, this is a hard one again. I'm just gonna say First Blood, right? I think Guru Patik is going immediately. Probably, yeah. So probably quicker than Cabbage Merchant. Like he's just going immediately because like what does Guru Patik do? You saw how Appa. I mean Appa attack might have well have like could have killed him, and I think he would have just like been dead, and it would have been like that. Like I don't. This character doesn't do anything. Okay, Han. I also feel like Han is a First Blood, but probably a higher tier than these characters because I think that he has more skills. He's more of like a combatant, in some ways. But I mean, we saw he just gets his butt whooped. So I think First Blood is all right for him. Hakoda. Okay. Now Hakoda I also think is a 50-50. The reason why, and I'm going to put him here, the reason why I feel like Hakoda is a 50-50 is because I think he does have the skills. He probably has the survivalist skills. He likely, I think he would do better than some of these characters in the probably a goner tier. And I do think that he would be better at a close combat situation. However, I do think he's kind of defenseless. And so for that reason, yeah, I think it's a sort of a 50-50 situation with Hakoda, okay? Haru is probably a goner, right? I don't know how Haru is going to come out of this. I don't feel like he is. I don't know where exactly I'd put him. Probably, I'd probably say he would probably survive longer than some of these characters. But Haru, I just feel like is just not as skilled of an earthbender as some other earthbenders we're going to talk about. And so for that reason, earthbending is probably going to be very strong in the zombie apocalypse because you could, use it to like separate yourself, and use it to probably aim and like shoot a rock through a head of a zombie. But I feel like overall Haru like really just was very bad at it. I think that he does just maybe there's a level up that happens. I don't see it. I feel like Haru would probably be like a casualty, That's how I see it. Now, this is Hugh. Okay. Hugh, I'm going to say I actually think Hugh's odds are kind of all right because Hugh has the plant bending ability. That's pretty good. Being able to plant bend, I don't know, like that's a resource immediately, right? So he can immediately like think about all the greenery that's going to be in the apocalypse, like as civilization's falling apart. He's going to have all of, the ability, like all the water he needs, I feel like. And I think that he's a master level waterbender. Now, I think the thing that sets him maybe back a little bit is that I don't know how great of like he would be in like a group scenario, right? I think we would see. I don't know. We don't see that much time with this character, but I think that he has pretty good chances. I'll be honest. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe this is my craziness. Maybe you guys are looking like, why the fuck did you put him in this place and you put Hakoda below and Combustion Man? You guys are gonna be like losing your minds. But I just feel like he'd be stronger like in like a apocalypse because you could water bend, freeze, and like things like that. I think that's like strong. It would be strong. Okay, Zhang. Now Zhang, I think Zhang is doing better than 50-50. I think he's also in good odds. Now I would put him here again. I would put him probably lower than Hugh. I think his odds are good. I think he has the experience. I think he has, he was on the run from the Fire Nation, so I think he already kind of he knows, I think he knows how to survive. I think he's like one of the strongest firebenders. So I think being able to do what he was able to do in some of the episodes we saw, like it would be very good. I think he's, I don't know if he's stronger of a firebender than Iroh is, but I think the things that he shows in the show to do, it would be like more useful in a firebending, like in a zombie apocalypse. Okay, that's what I mean. And I also feel like, he's a little more grizzled. Like, he would be able to survive. That's how I feel like with Zhang Zhang. So I'm gonna put him in good odds. Okay, Jet is a controversial one. I feel like Jet is probably a goner. I feel he's probably at the top of this list, definitely. But I just think, like, because he definitely will be able to survive, like, against the zombies. But, like, will he be able to interact with other people? Like, I don't think so. I think he's gonna die. Like, he's gonna piss someone off. Something's gonna happen. He just doesn't. I think he'll go crazy. Like, if there was like if we had like an off yourself tier list, he would be on it. I don't know. I feel like it just is not built for the zombie apocalypse long term. He would probably be able to survive short term. He kind of reminds me like of a Shane in that way. I don't think he would be able to survive long term though. Judy obviously is a first blood. Like, maybe she has more survival skills, like survival instincts than Guru Patik, but like, she's defenseless. Like, what else is there? June. Okay, June is an interesting one. Now, I think June is probably a 50-50 also. I think June has, what does she really have to like fight a zombie? A whip? Ugh, that doesn't look good. But I do think she is she would be a survivalist also. I don't know how well the search. I think mounts is just a bad idea. Like, it's just like not gonna work. I don't think it would work, but we'll see. Whatever. I think June. I think she could adapt. I guess that's my thing. Maybe if a whip isn't working, she would like pick up an axe or something, and she'd work it out. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I think this is Kachi. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty sure this is one of the rough rhinos. He's the one that has the like long spear thing. Yeah, he's probably a goner. Like, he's the like lamest one. I don't know. I'd probably put him here. Like, I just don't. Again, like the thing is like close combat, up close. Like, unless you're like a master like swordsman, that's what I feel like. But for something like this, like he uses a gun Dao. Is that how? I just don't think it would. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe he'd be the best. Maybe he's on your must-have. Right now, we only have one in the S tier, and that's Aang, which is not surprising. But yeah, I'm not seeing it for this dude. Okay, Kana. Okay, Kana is the first blood. Like, where in this list? It doesn't matter. Like, here, probably like there. Grand's there's no way. There's no way she's surviving this. I'm sorry, Katara. You're losing both your mother and your grandmother. Yeah, Katara though. The thing is, Katara is an S tier. Katara is an easy S tier, guys. And I'm going to tell you why. The first thing is bloodbending. That's easy. Once a month bloodbending with zombies. I imagine zombies have blood. I mean, they have flesh. So bloodbending is allowed. And I think that she would be able to bloodbend zombies. And so for that reason, I don't know how many she'd be able to do, but just being able to bloodbend one is enough to save your life. And so even just one night, right? Even just one night of the year. And we know that some bloodbenders can do it all the time. And maybe Katara is one of them. We don't know. But her being able to do it just once a full moon, that would even be pretty impactful, I think. Even aside from that, waterbending master, right? She's probably the best waterbender, like, in terms of like the skill of waterbending. And that's a huge skill, I feel like, with a zombie apocalypse. Because she would be able to freeze and like go for headshots, with ice and stuff, with ice spears. I think that she would be able to do this. Yeah, I feel like Katara would probably be an S tier. Yeah, I don't know. Yue. Okay, Yue, yeah, Yue is a first blood. I'm sorry, Yue. Where is she though? I think she would have better survival skills than these characters, but I don't know. Like, she's very much dependent on other people. Sorry, like, maybe she could do something with her moon powers. I really don't know. Okay, King Boomi. Okay, this is a harder one. I would say good odds, and probably better odds than Zhang Zhang. But the reason I'm not putting him into like the S tier is because, I mean, maybe I should. I don't know. I just feel like he's older, guys. Like, he's not in his prime. He's still a master. I just think like there are certain situations where he could get cornered, you know. And I also think in some scenarios I'd rather have like Hugh with the plant bending, you know, and also like with the water, like just the utility of water and like how probably useful that would be. I feel like it would just probably be a little better than what Boomi brings to the table, in my opinion. But Boomi, I would still say, is very strong. Like, probably could survive for days, like, you know, weeks, months, years, whatever. Yeah, like on his own, because, but in a group setting, I don't know. I don't know. He would still be pretty strong. So, I mean, he's number 5 on this tier list so far. So, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's how I feel about Boomi. I feel like that's a pretty good placement. King Kue, another first blood. Like, there's no who is who how is he surviving? He's not. Yeah, he's probably gonna be better than these characters, but I would even say the Cabs Merchant's gonna like survive longer than him. Lo and Lee again. This is like embarrassing. Why'd I even put these characters on the list? Who even knows? But yeah, they'd be a first blood. They'd be like here probably maybe they seem like they know a little bit more than Kana does about combat. I don't know. Long Fang. Yeah, this one's tough. I'm gonna say he's probably a goner too. Like, I don't know how long he would survive really. Um, I would say he probably is. He's probably has the best odds of these characters. Maybe Jet has better odds, but yeah, I don't see it for him. I don't know. Okay, Long Fang, honestly, I'm gonna put into 50-50. Where probably here, because I think that Long Fang, like with the range, he's a expert bowsman. I mean, yes, you will probably run out of arrows eventually, but like we see Daryl, right? We see the utility. I can see how Long Fang would be very useful in a zombie apocalypse where you have to go for headshots. Like, he would be very useful. But the thing is obviously still a non-bender. He probably has a lot of utility, like a lot of skills. I just think that Long Fang, it's a 50-50 kind of situation for me. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty fair placement for him. May, I feel the same way about May. I would honestly put May maybe like here. I think May, yeah, she'd probably be able to like find something to do, find some knives to throw. Like, she could probably do it. And she could probably handle like up close, but I don't see her surviving long term in some ways. But she could, I just see her, it's a mid character, right? The Mechanist. Now, probably, honestly, realistically, like, probably a goner. But I want to say the Mechanist has so many, like, out of combat skills and, like, being able to blow things up, like, I don't know, invent things, having clever ideas that people would either prioritize him to be alive or, like, I don't know. He would, and I also think that he would probably be able to at least somehow like figure out a way to survive. He seems like he has that, especially with the Fire Nation. Maybe this isn't a fair ranking. Maybe this isn't a fair. He probably is a goner. Let's be realistic. He probably is a goner, but I would say he has just more survival intuition, like especially in an apocalypse. Like some of it is like you got to know how to negotiate, and I think the Mechanist is one of those people. We see him do it with the Fire Nation, so I'm gonna say probably a goner, but better than these characters. Ogadai. Okay, this is one of the rough rhinos again. Yeah, I don't see his power being very useful. I'll probably put him above Kaichi, but I mean, yeah, he's probably better than the Mechanist, but like, I mean, is he like? Is he has the swirly thing, and like, is that really good in a zombie apocalypse? Maybe. He could probably destroy some zombies. Maybe. I don't know. Guys, I don't know. It seems kind of like a liability. Oyaji. This is Suki's mom in the Netflix adaptation. I'm just laying it out, guys. I'm just saying. Yeah, he's probably a goner. Where do we put him in First Blood? Where do we put him? This is so awkward. I think he shows some skill. I don't want to put my man Oyaji down. So I think he would probably do better than these characters, to be honest. Probably better than probably at the top of First Blood. That honestly, because he like did not hesitate to rush into battle. I'm just saying, in that one episode of Kyoshi, the Warriors of Kyoshi, I'm just saying. Ozai has pretty good odds. Ozai has pretty good odds. He would probably be like somewhere around here with Zhang Zhang. I think the Ozai would definitely find a way to survive. Ozai is a super strong firebender. He's probably the strongest firebender in the series, even though I didn't rank him as the strongest one. I ranked his daughter. I'm sorry. I'm a simp for Azula, I guess, for her skill, guys. I don't care. Like, who cares? Ozai would be like right there, I think. Paku, honestly, Paku is S tier. I feel like I want to put him in S tier, but like I feel like that's unfair because I would put Paku above Azula for good odds. Like Paku is like resourceful, in my opinion. Waterbending is a super skill, I think, in an apocalypse. So I'm saying Paku is in good odds, and I would definitely want Paku on my team. I don't know. So I'm sorry. The tier list speaks, or I speak in the form of a tier list. Okay, Piandao honestly is also in the good odds. I'm probably going to put him at the bottom because he has no bending power. Okay, he has no bending ability. But I think out of all of the non-benders, I do think Piandao probably has the best chance because he's a master swordsman. And I think being a master swordsman in particular, I think would probably be the best melee like skill to have. Just because I think it's like the most range that you could probably have with it has distance. I think that swords, and I also think that he's creative. So like in a situation where he needs to survive in like a split-second reaction, he would be able to find that moment. I think that Piandao is, I would put him in good odds. I think he's probably the best non-bender at this point, right? Yeah, probably better than Long Shot. Pipsqueak. Okay, Pipsqueak. Now I'll put him in. He honestly probably is a goner. Where did he go? Oh, probably is a goner, realistically. But like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna put him in 50-50 because I think he's huge. He's strong. That's pretty good to like keep you from getting killed by a zombie. I feel like you could just throw a lumberjack. You could just throw a piece of wood through a zombie's head. I feel like. Hama, again, I just feel like is an easy S tier. She can bloodbend. Like, that is such a strong ability, I feel like, for a zombie apocalypse. It would just be so, like, I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. It's once a month. Okay, yeah, I get it. But also, she can do all those other things. She can, like, pull water right out of grass. So, like, that would be useful. Really, really, really useful. Yeah, I think Hama would be like an S tier survivor, and she like is a survivor. She's like a real life survivor. Like she's an actual survivor. She survived the prison for that long. Like she'd be able to survive the apocalypse. I feel like. Smellerbee. Now I think Smellerbee is probably a goner. Like I don't see her having as much utility as Longshot. In the long run. No pun intended. So like where in this list though? Like probably higher than like these characters. Yeah, I'd put it probably where Jet is. Like she can definitely like fight a zombie off, Sokka. Now this is probably gonna be controversial. I'm gonna put Sokka in the 50-50. I think he's probably like he'll probably do better than like he'll probably do better than that. That's a tough one. He'll probably do better than Iroh, at least, I think. Would he do better than Longshot? I think it's hard. It's hard because I think he has the resourceful skills, and like Piandao, the quick split-second decision making, and he's a really good swordsman also. So that definitely helps. But I just worry about Sokka. I feel like I just think that if there was a Walking Dead for Avatar: Last Airbender, like Sokka would be one of those season 3 deep cut casualties. That's what I think. But yeah, Suki. I feel the same way about Suki. I think Suki has a lot of skills. She's good at sword fighting. She's good with the fans. I just don't see also all of those skills being super useful in an apocalypse. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Using fans in apocalypse doesn't seem as smart. Sword fighting, maybe, yes, it would be better. She is a great acrobat. I don't know if that really is enough, I don't know if that's really enough. It is enough to like probably keep her there. long, enough. Like, I know I just said it wasn't enough, but it's enough to keep her there, but it's not enough to keep her, like, alive long term. Okay, that's my feeling about Suki. It's the same about Sokka. Okay, Teo would be first blood. Like, honestly, like, he's like a sitting duck. Like, it almost feels wrong to put him in this tier list at all, but, like, he can fly, I guess. He can fly away, but he has to land eventually, so yeah, I'll put him there. Okay, the hippo is like just probably a goner. Like he's at the very bottom of this list. He could probably like earthbend away, punch people. I don't know. He could probably do it, but like no, I don't know about it. Like he's gonna die, and it's the same thing with the boulder. Let's be real. The boulder, like probably he's gonna live longer than the hippo, but like he's not. It's gonna like happen at the same time or like one after the other. So I'm not seeing it for the boulder or the hippo. I'm sorry. The Duke. Now this is interesting, but also I feel like a first blood. I would say first blood, but also he's probably better than Uriachi because he can definitely like hold himself, But he's just, I mean, and he has probably some skills. Like he could probably like fit in, somewhere, but I just think that he would eventually get caught. He'd eventually get killed by a zombie. I just think that that's what would happen. Maybe I should just say probably a goner for that reason, like the bottom of it. Okay, this is either, what is this, Tho or Do? This is one of them. Yeah, for the same reason, I'm gonna put him above him though, because he's a little bit smarter than him, the other one. So that's the only reason. Honestly, this feels like a horrible tier list because these characters are above Suki and Zhao. But like waterbending would be, you guys have to admit waterbending would be like pretty strong, and especially if you're a swamp bender, like you would probably be able to like, you'd be able to do it. I think you'd be able to do it. I'd rather be a waterbender. I'd rather be a swamp bender than be a non-bender with like sword binding skills, unless I'm Piandao. I'm just saying. That's how I feel about that, guys. Don't roast me. I know I'm gonna get roasted. Okay, Toph is an S tier. This is so easy. Probably I want to even put her at the very front because she's that strong. Like that strong. She has seismic sense alone is like so strong. It's like stupid how broken that ability is. It's like there's just no way, like, in a zombie apocalypse, like, yeah, you want her on your team. There's no way. I would pick her over Aang, but just because Aang has seismic sense too, though. But she also has metal bending, and see, that's where she really goes into the S tier. Metal bending would be, like, the most useful bending skill, I think, after blood bending. Right after blood bending, metal bending and metal bending is not limited to time. So that's why I put her as S tier. Metal bending would be amazing. You could... Toph would just be able to like wear a metal suit and just not get bit by zombies ever. And she could also just like create bullets. So I'm going with Toph on the zombie apocalypse. I think she'd be really great. And yeah, it's the seismic sense. So I even really need to explain exactly why that would be amazing. Basically, nobody can sneak up on you ever. It doesn't matter if they're a zombie. It doesn't matter if they're a human. She will feel them coming. So I think that that's a pretty powerful ability. And she could probably teach other earthbenders. So all of those reasons, like Toph is an S tier. Okay. Now, obviously a pretty easy fit for Toph and S tier. This is going to be very controversial. Ty Lee, I'm not seeing the long term. And the reason I'm not saying long-term is because you're in an apocalypse. She is a hand-to-hand combatant. She doesn't use a weapon. She's not like Mei who uses knives and stuff. Ty Lee only uses chi blocking. And chi blocking is really powerful against benders. But against a zombie, like, I don't know. Even if she could chi block them to make them not, paralyzed or whatever, that's like, it just leaves her open to like being attacked, in my opinion. And yes, she's a great acrobatic, but like if you're being swarmed by zombies and your only ability is to like paralyze them, she's eventually going to get pinned down. Like eventually she's gonna, So for that reason, I'm gonna say she is probably a goner, but I'm gonna put her like, I'll put her here, because she can probably evade. I think that's the skill that she would have. She'd be able to evade, really. Like, she's not going to be able to... What is she going to... Chi block is like... She would be in the worst situation... Do I even need to explain this? She'd be in the worst situation. Like, you don't want to be up close with a zombie. So, like... And that's her ideal. Like, she wants to be up close because that's what she does. So, for that reason, I don't think Ty Lee's surviving this. Tyro. I feel like Tyro would maybe, if his son died, he'd have like some character development. He'd step up, but nah, I don't know. I feel like, you know, earthbending is good, so I'd put him there. Ursa, yeah, probably like a first blood. I'd probably put her like around where UA is, probably better than UA. Is this Yachi, I think? These, okay, these are yeah. Bow and arrow. I think this is pretty good actually. Bow and arrow. I'd put him around where long shot is, because I think a bow and arrow would be pretty useful. Explosives are also pretty useful, but I think probably less so. You know, I feel like this is kind of the combustion man situation. Is, you know, should I? But I don't think he would like necessarily blow himself up. So I would say he's probably, and he also wears armor, so that's, you know, he'll probably go here, like there. And then Zuko, I picked the like hardest one for last. It's just like Iroh. Iroh is a really hard one. Zuko is, again, he's also a really tough one, because I don't think Zuko, I think he would do better than Iroh, because he's younger, he's more athletic, he has more, I think, like training with swords, so he'd be better like in a combat situation up close, like if he needed to, and he has the firebending. So, you know, I think he does do better. I don't know if he does as well as Zhang though, and I don't know if he does as well as Piandao. I think he probably does better than Colonel Monkey. Honestly, in retrospect, it seems crazy that I put Iroh lower than some of these characters, but I just don't think Iroh has guys, let me explain. I don't think he has the survival skills, right? I think Zuko proved in Zuko Alone that he does, that he could go out and survive like on his own. You know, there are multiple times where Iroh is in periling danger, you know, is that even the right word? He is just like, his life is at danger, and Zuko bails him out. You know, so for those reasons, I think that Zuko has more kind of the survival instinct between the two. So that's my explanation. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree with this. Tier list. I feel very scared. I know this is just a stupid tier list, and it's like for whether a character can survive against a zombie. Like, but that's honestly how I feel about this list. Like, I get that you guys are gonna be like, why are there swamp benders above? It's because, you know, freezing. That's a very powerful, you guys have to admit, that's very powerful, like being able to freeze. And yeah, Monkey is probably my most controversial. I honestly feel weird like putting him there. Maybe I should put him a little bit lower. You know, I don't know, guys. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. He was one of the first ones, so if you guys, I don't know. But also, like, guys, I don't know. This was honestly challenging. I didn't know how challenging this would be. Like, obviously the non-benders were pretty easy to rank, but like the bending abilities, it is hard to gauge, because it's like, how well would they really, like, if they were being ambushed by a zombie, you know, if they were being straight up ambushed, like, that's why I feel like, okay, if they're being ambushed by a zombie, like, I would say that I would put my money more on these waterbenders than like Sokka and Suki. But then also I'd put more like money on Monkey and Zuko, right? Also, I feel like Monkey has like, he has like the ruthlessness of like a, you know, of a character that would survive the apocalypse. That's just my feeling. I don't know. Anyway, I spent way too much time talking about this character that nobody even knows. Okay, if you guys like this video, please leave a like, leave a subscription, give me more suggestions. I'll make more tier lists, totally, like, absolutely. And give me, who do you think is like, who do you think you disagree with? Who do you agree with? Who do you think is S tier? Do you guys agree that my controversial, like, Toph is better than the Avatar in a zombie apocalypse? Tell me what you guys think. All right, I'll talk to you guys all in my next video.